Houston is one of the largest cities in the United States and is a booming location for many families and companies. Oil-based businesses and activities have played large roles in the boom of the economy for Houston since the late 1960s. The implementation of urban redevelopment projects in Houston demonstrates the economic significance of urban renewal nationally because many projects forced more efficient travel, recreation, and business opportunities for citizens located all over the city. In this short film, I will recount the details of the role of oil in Houston redevelopment in order to shed light on the spatial opportunities and land development experiences that many cities around the world haven't implemented. Houston is a prime example of how big corporations and industries can help to benefit the people while boosting the economy in the area. This little-known history of the urban planning is relevant today because Houston has become a major city because of its prosperous land, efficient flow, and availability to many people around the world. This has become more prevalent throughout each redevelopment project. From boat to train to automobile trade, Houston has provided a clear and dynamic system for all companies and opportunities. With the ups and downs of oil, Houston has been innovative and creative with its urban design to provide effective and efficient living for its citizens. With its citizens and businesses in mind, Houston has been working to perfect their ways of life for many years, and this has taken many urban development projects in order to do so. From the ashes of these projects came beautiful, economic-friendly, and award-winning parks and buildings that have been drawing hundreds of businesses and travelers to Houston since their development. Since the 1960s, Houston has gained over 5 million citizens. With this population expansion and automobile popularization came massive highways and interstates in order to maintain efficiency. In many major cities, state and federal highway engineers developed their own visions of technologically efficient freeways that would speed autos and trucks to their destinations while bypassing the monster traffic jams. Houston gained at least 3 major roads in and around the downtown area between the years of 1960 and 1980. These include I-10, I-45, and I-69, which bring travelers in from around the nation. Many of these roads took over old railroads and stations. However, some were just expanded from already populated streets. As you can see in these two photos, one from 1955 and one from 1967, many major roads were placed to go directly through the center of the city. Luckily, the people of Houston didn't experience a drastic amount of relocation or destruction due to their locations. However, construction was everywhere. These roads provided a massive increase of people moving to suburban areas because of construction and ability for people to travel into the city for work efficiently. A company that went by the name Texas Eastern decided to take advantage of these new highways and transportation advances in the 1970s. This massive oil business acquired around 33 blocks of land in the main business district of downtown Houston in order to further industrialize this space. Their main goals were to provide a completely immersed experience for citizens and visitors, promote vehicle use in the oil industry, as well as solve large traffic issues on Main Street. This plan was promoted as the City of Tomorrow and would include multiple amenities such as hotels, retail, and office spaces to incoming companies. Opposed to just rebuilding existing roads and clearing out buildings in the area to solve traffic congestion, Texas Eastern decided to include parking garages for up to 40,000 vehicles, high-rise streets that would connect directly from the freeways, and people movers such as moving sidewalks and escalators to promote walking. These would allow travel to be easier and more efficient and would draw people into a fully immersed petroleum industry experience. Although it was never fully completed, Texas Eastern did help to redevelop almost 4.2 million square feet of office and retail buildings. Phase 1 of the City of Tomorrow was scheduled to begin construction in 1972 and would focus on the main building, the Houston Center, to start. Like previously stated, this project was never completed. However, the Houston Center still received a major upgrade and reopened in 1978. The whole center consists of 5 large towers, a hotel, and a shopping mall. The location of these buildings in proximity to restaurants, retail, and office spaces allowed for many businesses to benefit from this development project. However, while the oil industry was booming at this time, progression and negativity followed shortly after in the 80s. To an oil and energy-based city, the worst had just occurred. As the population of Houston grew by almost 27% due to the oil boom of 1970, the 80s provided no answers to their well-being. Global relations and politics caused oil prices to drop to a whopping $10 a gallon by 1986, but this was after almost 6 years of job loss and negative profit. By March of 1987, Houston saw over 211,000 jobs vanish. This left many citizens stranded and starving for any existence of hope. While there was no massive decline in infrastructure quality in the city, many suburban or outer city populations had to move on to other neighboring cities for jobs and cheaper living. It wasn't until April of 1990 when jobs started to become available again. During the oil depression, Texas Eastern owners had an idea that was driven around getting jobs and people back to Houston. They decided to donate 6 blocks of land to the city in order to build a massive convention center located across the street from the popular Houston Center. This convention center is named after one of the Texas Eastern founders, George Rufus Brown, because of his work that he did for the community of Houston. The George R. Brown Convention Center opened in 1987 and has provided a space for businesses to hold business and entertainment events. This venue was in charge of bringing in thousands of different companies and opportunities to Houston that had helped to boost the economy of the city yet again. Despite all of the positives for the economy, citizens still viewed these portions of land as unappealing and inaccessible because of all of the infrastructure and construction that came with redevelopment. After revitalizing many large sections of Houston by the 1990s, Texas Eastern didn't stop their redevelopment plans. With the people's needs and livelihoods in mind, they found that open green spaces were becoming more popular and neighbor-friendly in many other cities. In order to provide this experience for Houstonians, they analyzed how their land was being used and how they could benefit the community further. They settled on the parking lot right in front of the convention center. The original plans were to make it into a 3-block garden called the Houston Center Gardens. However, it was shortly viewed by the community as not enough. This led Texas Eastern to sell the 6 acres of land that the gardens and parking lots took over in order for a community space to be built. They understood that a more appealing entrance wouldn't only benefit the city with more visitors and a boost economically, but it would also bring more businesses into the convention center and towards Texas Eastern as a whole. It took the city almost 4 years, from 2000 to 2004, to acquire enough land to fulfill the community's needs and wants. After multiple public meetings, organizational donations, and planning events, the city finally decided to transform the land into a fully immersive park. This park is called Discovery Green Park. It takes up 12 acres of land in the heart of the city and provides space for art, cultural entertainment, and venues that promote Houston's community. In total, the city received over $122 million in donations from organizations such as the Kinder Foundation, Mayor Bill White, and the Brown Foundation. All of these organizations helped support major developments in Houston, but played large roles in the making of Discovery Green. Discovery Green consists of 12 acres of open space, $6 million in art installations, an underground parking garage, and brings in over $45 million a year in park revenue. This park has boosted the city by providing information and showing visitors who diverse Houstonians truly are. In addition, the park has also served as a promoter for other Houston development, such as the Hess Tower, One Park Place, Embassy Suites, Marriott Marquise, and the Houston Independent School District's Kinder High School for Performing and Visual Arts. With Discovery Green Park, the Houston economy began to boom yet again and jobs became more available. The entertainment and sporting industry also began to infiltrate the city. The first sports league or team to get their own building in Houston was the Houston Astros Major League Baseball team. The baseball arena is called Minute Maid Park and was built in 2000, replacing the old Union train station. There is a strong history with Minute Maid Park and Union Station because the city decided to keep the original building and use it as a grand entrance for ballgame goers. They also incorporated a tradition that when someone scores a home run, a train that resembles the Union Station trains takes a lap around the arena, followed by a train horn. This tradition shows visitors just how important railroads and trains were to Houston development throughout the years. Throughout the years, Houston has proven to be a strong city filled with infinite possibilities. The redevelopment projects and land conservation prove that the economy doesn't have to dictate the infrastructure and livelihoods of citygoers and visitors to the point of destruction. It is clear that citizens' needs and the oil industry have played the largest roles in the expansion and success of Houston and the United States, and that cities don't have to do a complete 180 in order to better their land use.